The Experience Pros Radio Show, the most positive business talk show in America. Best-selling authors of Lists That Saved My Business and founders of the Extreme Customer Service Directory, Angel Tussey and Eric Raymer, are inspiring you to get your business right. They know that customer experience isn't just another thing, it's the only thing. Let's join Angel and Eric for today's program.
Well, good afternoon. Hello. Welcome to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Eric is in San Diego for the next couple of days. He's actually out there doing some PR with a client. So he is pretending to get a little bit of work in, although he's already sent me some pictures of the beach. And I am certain that an In-N-Out burger is in his future if he hasn't already had 2 or 3. And filling in the hot seat with me today is my gal pal Janice Rendon.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
It's so great to have you.
Thank you.
Janice is our transitional expert. We've had her on the radio several times before talking about transitioning in careers. Give us just a little snapshot about what you do, Janice.
Well, I help people who are wanting to transition to a different career or who's been laid off and just kind of searching. So just give me a call and let's sit down and chat.
How many times have you had to do that yourself?
5 times.
5 times. And you're still standing.
Still standing. And I actually got to retire from the same company.
That let you off? That
Yes.
laid you off? We're going to hear that story, I'm sure, throughout today. Today, we're going to kick it off talking about getting out of your comfort zone. Janice, I know one of the things that, for many people, we're just creatures of habit. Right? We do the same thing day in, day out. We allow our habits to really define us. And especially when we talk about our career, I think a lot of times we even allow our career to define who we are. So when that changes, what does that do to people?
You know, it's really tough because a lot of people put their whole who they are in their career. And so if there's a layoff or if there's some kind of adjustment, it really takes your self-confidence and brings you down. And you really have to be around people who will pick you up and say, you got this. You do know something. And you just stay around people like that to keep you going.
I think we often feel so rejected.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. And that rejection can just eat us alive. Well, let's talk about some things we can do to get out of our comfort zone. According to Sally Deneen in Success.com, she says, we're ruled by habits. We do things the same old way because it's comfortable. And there's risk in staying firmly inside of our comfort zone. She says it creates psychological barriers that lead to imitations. And if we haven't done anything dynamic in a long time, we begin to think that we can't. Exactly. Is that familiar?
Oh, very much so. It's kind of like I learned how to drive a stick shift last year. And, it takes you in a different zone because when you're learning how to use your left foot and you're just you're challenging yourself, but you use a different part of your brain. And so it affects everything. It's not just driving. It's learning something new. It's exciting.
Okay, so I just a few years ago I had learned when I was 16, when I first got my driver's license. My dad said, if you're going to learn how to drive, this is part of learning how to drive.
Good dad.
But then I went 30 years almost without driving a 5-speed or a stick shift, right? Had automatics all those years. I accidentally bought a 5-speed.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was one of those, and this is a really bizarre story, but there was some friends of ours, were doing a live auction. A car had been donated to a charity organization. Nice. And they were raising funds for this charity organization. And our friends over at Nyland's Collision Center were doing all the body work on it and making it all beautiful and doing all this work on it before it went to the auction. And they had a silent auction. You could bid online before the event.
Okay.
Well, I went and, it was a month before the event. I bid on it, thinking I'll just get things going. Have you ever gone to an auction and just bid on something, and you go through and you bid on a lot of things and you're not going to get everything. And then if you do, you're just really charitable that month. But I just bid on it thinking I would just get it started. I didn't think anything of it because I was the first bid. I never went back and rebid. It was a pretty low bid, right, for a car. And the day before the event, I get a phone call that lets me know that I have won.
Nice.
I won a car. Now, I had to go and tell my husband. that number one, I bid on a car. Number two, I won this car. He says, Angel, tell me about the car. Well, I didn't know anything about the car. I had never seen the car.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really know anything about the car. He says, you never buy a car that you've never seen, that you've not at least checked out, right? Okay, well, I didn't know. I didn't know I was buying a car. I just thought I was doing a bid to be charitable and to get things going. I wasn't really, in my mind, buying a car. Turns out I did. So we get to the event, and there's this pretty little car all out front. They've got a great big bow on it, and it's going to be this big reveal at the event of who won the car. And nobody really there knows that I won the car. My husband knows, I know, there's a couple people, but the majority of the people that are there, you poor thing,
Sorry.
you poor thing. She's hacking up along here on radio, right? And so the car is outside, and I discovered it's a stick shift.
Oh my goodness.
Right? It's a 5-speed, and I don't know how to drive 5-speed. So we had the darn thing towed home. We had to because it didn't have plates on it anyways. So that was my excuse. And my husband taught me how to drive this 5-speed. So what made you decide to learn how to drive a 5-speed this late in life?
Well, I had just bought a car.
Okay.
And because my car was totaled in the hail that we just had. So I bought a new car, and it was nice. But I was looking online, and I seen this little Volkswagen Bug, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. I told my husband, can we sell the car that I just bought? Because he's really good at stuff like that. And can I buy this Bug? And he said, well, sure, I guess. So we're on our way to go pick up this Bug. And I text the lady, and I said, by the way, it is standard. I mean, automatic, right? And she's like, no, it's standard. And I'm like,
are any Volkswagens automatic?
Yes,
they are. Oh, okay.
And so I told my husband, I'm going to learn how to drive a stick shift. And so we bought the car. He drives it home because obviously I don't know how to drive a stick shift. And I learned how to drive, and I go, and it was awesome. But still to this day, when I'm driving this car, I'll be going down the street, and your mind, it just feels so good to learn something. And so you carry on that. And so that's why it's so important to come out of your comfort zone.
It is, right? Because again, as we go through our life, if we stop trying new things and we stop, having these dynamic challenges that come into our lives, we start to believe that we can't try something new. And then we start to, then we baby step it, right? So now we're not doing anything new. Then we start to believe that we can't. And then we're even afraid of anything new that comes along.
And this is where people get stuck in the job for 20, 30 years because they're in that rut. They don't think they could do anything else. And so they can go 20, 30 years, and then they get laid off, and it's all they know. And then it's really in trouble. So it's very important to challenge yourself. Even if you're not going to take another job or a position, learn something new.
Okay, so in getting outside of our comfort zone, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, Janice. I mean, you're already here hosting a radio show. Have you done this before?
No, this is my first time.
All right, so you are ding one up already for getting out of your comfort zone and doing something new. What are some other things that are maybe on your radar, your bucket list, or your comfort zone list?
I was thinking about that because New Year, we have to think about, okay, what do we want to do next? How can we change our New Year, do something exciting? And I thought, well, I've always kind of wanted to do a zip line, but don't announce it, right? You don't want to tell anybody. And so I told my husband.
A zip line, like where you go harness with the rope and over. Okay.
And, and heights, and I'm afraid of heights. And I said, and so I announced it today when I was at this networking event. And so I guess I'm doing it. And now I'm on radio, so I guess I'm doing it this year. Yay.
Here in Colorado, we've got some pretty fun places. You could actually zip line over the Royal Gorge. Did you know that?
Yes. Don Graham mentioned that to me this morning. And I said, can we start small? Let's start small. But I guess I didn't start small when I learned how to drive the stick shift just as well as you, right? We don't know how to do small.
You don't know how to do small. And I know every day you go out, you've got on Instagram, you've got an Instagram page, Walking with Janice. Why did that start? Tell me a little bit about that.
When I retired from corporate, I decided that I was going to move my body every single day. And so I went to El Salvador and I bought a camera because I've always wanted to do that. So I bought this camera. And so I thought I put the two together. I take photos and then I go walking and I just say, pause. I find some amazing things. I mean, you know, if you open your eyes to really look at the world, it's amazing what you find. So you really find what you look for.
You find what you look for. That is word of wisdom right there. You find what you go looking for. Well, if you're on Instagram, check it out. Walking with Janice on Instagram. The pictures, the things that you find, they are just incredible. Well, you are hanging out with Angel and Janice this afternoon. Eric's in San Diego. He won't be back till next week, so we've got a whole next couple of days of girl power here in the studio. Get out of your comfort zone. You've got some things on your mind and you want to say it out loud, post it on our Facebook page. You're listening to Positive Business Talk, where we empower you to build your brand on the radio.
You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show, America's home for positive business talk.